Hello,
Hello,
this is our new podcast, Popcorn and Purl.
your mother and daughter.
Yes,
I'm the mother, Mutti, known as, and this is my daughter,
Penny.
Penny. But popcorn is my favourite. I crochet, and popcorn is my favourite stitch.
And I mainly knit, although I try and crochet sometimes. Purling isn't my favourite stitch, but it went well with popcorn. So we have popcorn and purl. We live in the southwest of the UK by the coast. It's currently raining at the moment, and it just seems to be non-stop raining. So sorry if you can hear that. We do live in quite an old house. It's about 17th century old farmhouse. So yes, installation isn't great at the moment. We're currently we need to do lots of renovations on it. So Mutti is living with us. Myself, my partner, and my little girl, and she is doing one of the barns up, converting the barn to be her little house across in the courtyard.
Anyway, enough about us. Let's get on to the knitting and the crochet.
Yes, that's our intro.
Yeah.
Good. Do you want to go first? Or
finished projects. We're going to do some finished projects first, just to show what we've done.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
All right. Do you want to do yours first because you're youngest?
Well, no, you do yours first because I need to get your socks and a sock blocker.
Oh, right. Okay. So while Penny's doing that, like I said, I crochet. I spent years and years self-taught. Self-taught. My mother taught me, but now she can't remember any crochet, and I just took it from there. And I never finished anything. I literally would just sit and make bizarre little squares. I wouldn't even make a square. I think when I was a teenager at the time, we used to make tea cloths. My mother used to give me some string basically, and I used to make dishcloths and things like that for her, which I don't think we've got any left, but I think my mum really liked. Anyway, but then on and off through the years, I would dabble in it, but I never finished anything until I discovered the joys of a kit. And so my first project that I finished was the lily pond blanket, which you can just see there behind Penny. So that's should I get it a bit closer?
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Really lovely. So this is Jane Crow's it's a Stylecraft cowl. It's a Stylecraft cowl. I didn't do it as the cowl stands for crochet along, and I didn't know any of this, by the way, until I kind of came across this on the internet. And it turns out that a crochet along, they release week by week little bits of it, and this is sewn in squares. And you buy all the wool at once, which is wonderful. You don't have to they tell you what to get. You buy the kit, and you literally make the squares week by week. You make those different squares, and at the end, you sew them together. My biggest learning from this. So I made this. This was my first finished project. Yes. And I learned a lot making this, although I didn't find it difficult. I had the knowledge and the skills, bizarrely, to know how to do it. It wasn't a problem. It wasn't difficult. The only thing was I wasn't prepared for all the sewing of the ends and the joining and the blocking. Took far longer than any of the crocheting, so I'm better prepared now for that. So that's that, and this is I gave this to my granddaughter for her Christmas eventually, although didn't finish at the time. A few weeks after Christmas. So this is what she got. Then
stolen off her bed.
Yes, just poor little child in the middle of winter. And then more recently in lockdown, I made this blanket, which is a granny square blanket, and this was literally made out of scraps of wool that I had around. There's some little, you could recognise some of the colours from the lily pond blanket. little scraps of wool, and didn't have any plans for this, but it ended up, showed it to Penny, and I've never seen it since.
So it's my bed.
So this is, and we call this my lockdown blanket because I did it in lockdown 1 in the summer. I sat outside and did that in my tea breaks and lunch breaks. So that's my finished projects. Examples of.
Yes. We haven't obviously got all our finished projects to show because we've gifted some, and I made, when I first got into knitting, it took me ages to be honest, because I was self-taught. It took me about 3 years to learn. It was a lot of tantrums, a lot of starting and stopping, a lot of learning curves, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of tantrums. But I really started like being able to produce things probably about 2 years ago. I think I started these socks that I'm going to show, and it's one of the first items that I kind of was successful in, and I've done a few things since, but I'm still very much a beginner. I still class myself as a beginner. But these are some socks that I made for my Mitty.
My socks.
And these are my very first pair that I've ever made.
Don't wear them. They're too precious.
They look really long on the thing. I've learned a lot from making these, like the sizing and stuff like that. And now I try and make my socks like 10% with 10% negative ease, so they will fit better. But no, I really enjoyed doing these. I know the yarn, this one, the main body of the sock is the West Yorkshire Spinners. I'm not too sure, I can't really remember the actual details of it, but the colourway is Mallard and it's self-striping yarn, and I did a 1x1 rib all the way down, apart from obviously the foot. Under the foot I just did stockingette because I didn't think it was going to be nice to be able to have that under your foot. I did a fish lips kiss heel, which worked out pretty well. And then the toe, heel and cuff is blacker yarns. They're a Cornish yarn. I can't quite remember the name of the colourway, but I can add it in at the bottom in our description. And I think that's actually a DK, so I think I mixed a fingering weight with a DK weight, but I'm still learning. But I wanted it to be like the birds, like beak and little legs. The duck, yes. And I quite like doing, I think I got a bit of a thing for different cuff, heel and toes. I really like that effect, so I'm always looking to do that in future socks. Although one of my projects you'll see I haven't done it, but so this is what I made for Mitty. I've made some baby cardigans and hats and stuff since, but yes, that's a finished object of mine, was these socks.
And what do you have work in progress at the moment?
Work in progress, I've got quite a lot actually. I need to grab this off my sock blocker. I've only got one. I got it for my Christmas and I was dead chuffed. So work in progress, I was trying to be really good and not cast too much on. I've always been kind of like a 1 or 2 person kind of project, like feeling like that's manageable. And then lockdown and this year, and I've gone crazy. I've just gone crazy. I am like trying to hold off on things, but I don't feel like I've finished much recently. We'll kind of go in order, but I really wanted to knit a jumper. I haven't knit a jumper before.
Can I just ask a quick question? How many work in progresses do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. Ask me.
How many do you have?
1.
It was quite a big project. Your kind of equals my 5.
You can think that. Okay.
Right.
Let's get
Whizzing
stuck in
through.
there. Yes, whizzing through.
So yeah, starting with a jumper that yes, my first ever jumper. Did a lot of research, wanted it to be a really great, easy pattern, and I went with the Tin Can Knits flax. Let's try and get there. I know it's a free pattern. I get a lot of my patterns off Ravelry. It's a well used. I've got sellotape on there because it got ripped. It's a well used pattern because I've had to refer to it quite a lot, but it's been really, really great. I'd really recommend it if you are knitting your first jumper. They've put diagrams. I think it's two ladies that make up Tin Can Knits, and they do diagrams and lots of explanation. They've got a blog that you can look at, but I'm doing the Aran weight one. I know they do it a lighter weight as well, like a full ply one I think, but I'm doing the Aran weight. And again, I chose, this is it, this is what I've done. I chose quite cheap wool because I thought, well, it's my first jumper, I'm going to make errors. Although it's going to be special, I don't want to spend a lot of money on it, because what if I end up doing it and, you know, there's too many errors on it and I end up hating it. I don't want to have spent loads of money. So I went to John Lewis and I bought one of their great big balls. They do these like massive balls. I don't know what weight it is. I've still got some of it here, but it was literally when I first started the size of my head. And I think the colourway is grey, and it's like I don't know, 70% acrylic, 20% wool, in the grey colourway. And I've done everything. I've finished this sleeve, and I need to start this sleeve. And I didn't cast it off. I didn't do any of the ribbing or anything at the bottom. I've actually left those stitches live because we're quite tall. One of the reasons why I wanted to knit my own jumper is because I find, like, when I get by a jumper, it'll fit me, and then I wash it, and then it'll literally shrink. It's like up here and like finishes like here on me. So I just wanted to make jumpers that actually fit me. I don't feel like I'm like long limbed or like abnormal. I just couldn't get knitwear to fit me. And so I just got fed up and disheartened. So that's why I did knit the cuff extra long as well, so I could like kind of fold it down to where I wanted it to be. And I was reluctant to finish the ribbing until I'd kind of felt like I'd done the sleeves and everything and could try it on loads, and I could always lengthen it because I don't have the skills to finish this and then like go back and edit it. So yes, that is my flax by Tin Can Knits. There. Oh, this is also the first time using DPNs. I normally knit my socks magic loop, and I'd only ever done magic loop.
What's the DPN?
Double pointed needle.
Oh. Never learned.
Yes. So the sleeve was yeah. There's my first. Go. Should I keep going?
Okay. Oh, do you want to do another work in progress next time? Or do you want to do them all now?
I'll just do them all now, because then next time some of them might be finished, and then they're finished objects, and they're like, well, where did these come from?
Okay.
My next jumper, at the same time as casting on that one, I was like, oh, I do want to like have one that I'm really excited about, being like wanting to wear. So I then quite quickly after casting on my flax, I went and decided, oh, it's inside out. That I wanted to cast, and I kept seeing it on other people's podcasts, is the No Frills by Petite Knits. And I thought, great, no frills, that's kind of up my street, and I wanted something fluffy. So I cast this one on. Oh, you can see the fluff. But yes, I'm really sorry, like, we aren't professionals at this. This is just very homemade,
homegrown,
off the cuff. I'm sorry if this sounds a bit dodgy and everything. Apologies. We'll just see where this goes. But yes, this is my No Frills sweater by Petite Knits. I found it a completely different pattern. I think she's from Denmark or Scandinavia, she's Scandinavian, and I found that her pattern was very basic. It wasn't kind of beginner friendly, despite the jumper being no frills. The pattern was also certainly no frills, and I got quite frustrated at it trying to get like the yoke and the shaping. I think it was German short rows or something she used, and I'd never done that before. I'm sorry, I can't remember what it is, but yes, anyway, I had to watch a YouTube video, but they don't speak English in it, and I couldn't understand, so it was really having to watch what she was doing, and I had to like write my own little diagrams and write it kind of how I would understand it. Got there in the end, and I think I can't remember if there's any shaping in the body. I know the flax is a boxy, it's a straight knit. I think there's some decreases around here, but I don't think there's any. I can't remember doing any shaping in the body. I'm on one sleeve. I was just doing that magic loop. Just picked up the stitches. In her pattern, she says how to do it, a tapered sleeve. But I just didn't have the mind for it. And when I tried the jumper on, it was coming up short on me, so it's hitting me more kind of around my waist than like lower down on my hips, which would be fine with high-waisted trousers and stuff, but I just thought, just to balance that out and make it kind of a bit more voluminous on top and not make it look like a small jumper, that I would try bishop sleeves. So that again is my first attempt, and I just thought I'll give it a go. So yeah, so that's where I got the yarn that I used. I'm holding it double. I've had to cut one off because I'm using it on another project. Is Drops Alaska. I don't know the colourway. Oh, I do. I can tell you the colourway. It is, because I've got my balls here. Drops Flora. I can't tell you the colourway. It's like natural or something. I'll put it down below. But yeah, it's cream, and then I'm holding that with Drops Kid Silk. It is a Super Kid mohair and silk mix. Again, just their kind of natural colourway, and that's what's giving it the fluff. And I find this really soft. I know a lot of people itchiness and stuff like that, but I'm actually using this in another project that I'll show next, which is a headband for my little girl, and she's absolutely fine with having this on against her head. She hasn't mentioned it once about any sort of itch, and it feels quite comfortable and stuff. I don't know if you want to.
Oh yes,
yeah.
I can understand why people would think it's a bit itchy though.
Yes.
There is
yeah.
There is a kind of wiriness.
Yes.
Isn't there?
Yes. But yeah, this is what I ended up having to do for the short rows shaping, and like, I can't see, but like little scribble diagrams and stuff like that I have to do to kind of try and decipher the because it's a very basic pattern, but you know, well, I'm sure it's well written. If you're more experienced, you might just fly at it, but for me, just as my second ever jumper, it was a wee bit tough going, but you know, I'm really, really pleased with it. I'm really happy. Where did that go? Down there. Sorry, I've dropped a cake. Moving on to the other project I just mentioned was a headband for my little girl. I have gone for Frida's headband. Again, I get a lot of my patterns off, well, most of them off Ravelry. It's a free one. See if I can get, and it's like one of those like little headbands that's twisted. there's a black and white photo of it. Again, sorry about the quality. And it was another new technique that I had to learn, and that was double knitting. And I'm really interested in this actually. I was at John Lewis, and they was having like a yarn sale, and I got some, it was like Erica Knight for John Lewis, some DK in the colourway Coral. I don't know how good our lighting is. It's not really showing it, is it?
No, it looks kind of washed out. It's a wee bit pinker than it looks.
I don't know where I can put it.
That shows.
Yeah. It looks like salmon pink on this, but actually it's more like a raspberry pink.
Yes, it is a raspberry pink.
And yeah, so knitting double, it gives you a long strip like this, but actually you end up with a tube, which I'm really interested to see if there's any like sock knitting patterns where you could like cut it and then do like an afterthought heel or something like that, which would be quite interesting. But this is my first one I did, and this is why I'm taking it apart. I'm actually frogging it because it was just a bit too small for her. I didn't follow the instructions. Oh, unraveling.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes, frogging, unraveling.
Sorry, I didn't know. I know.
Knitter, crocheter, both newbies.
And then, you know, it's more than likely a term in crochet as well. I just
frogged it.
Never done that. Okay.
Yeah, this is one of the first times I've done it. But yeah, so when I first knit this, I made it slightly thinner, thinking, oh, she's a wee toddler. I won't, because the pattern is for adults. So the width would be for like me, and I thought, oh, that's going to be a bit big for a little toddler. So I think she recommends to cast on 37 stitches. Oh, 36. But and I was like, oh, I'll just do 26. Just randomly decided that. And it fit her and she was comfortable in it, but it was just already getting a little bit tight for her, and I really wanted it to cover her ears, and it was just, but we had to keep it like adjusting it. I didn't want it to do that, so I had a little bit of yarn left and I cast on again. This is now the adult width, because the lady that did the pattern tells you how to get the length right for different people, for the head measurement that you're doing it for, but I kept the width what she recommended for an adult. So I'm knitting it for my little girl's head length, so it's going to be a toddler head length, but an adult width, so I'm hoping it's going to be nice and and you know, she can hopefully have it next Christmas. But yeah, it's amazing. So double knitting, it's still all, sorry, excuse that bit, it's still all only on one cable side, but it still comes up double. So yeah, so now I ran out of my wee bit that I had left over, so then I had to cut this and unravel this. So this is currently what is feeding into my new one. And she keeps going, my hat. But yeah, no, she's again, and this is double knit. This is I think it's 100% wool. The pink is the coral. It was Erica Knight for John Lewis, but I think that was on sale because it was a kind of limited edition thing. And then I'm holding that double with the Drops Kid Silk, which is the same what I'm using for my petite knits. Yeah, so the Frida headband.
How long does it take you to knit that?
Well, I've been dipping in and out of things. When I first did it, and I just did it, I cast it on my birthday, so I kind of had like a good lazy day at it. But I think like on and off 3 or 4 days. I'm not the fastest.
But not full days.
No.
Over 3
over 3 or 4 days. Yeah. I don't have enough. But yes, the project bag that I'm using, I stole from Mitty. It's a wash bag. I know that people have amazing project bags and stuff like that, but you know, we just don't have.
We haven't got there yet.
No.
But you do have project bags.
Yes. I have a little bar of soap that I got for Christmas, which is a rose and a little soap company, Pure Rose and Geranium. It's organic, vegan, and free from loads of things. So it smells amazing, and I got it for Christmas, and I just popped it in here because I'm not using it, and it's made everything smell really nice. But also in this bag, I have a pair of socks I've casted on, which I've actually had to cut off the ball because the little girl was playing with it and got a bit tangled. So I knit my socks cuff down. I haven't tried to toe up yet. I'm kind of tempted to, but I'm still getting my confidence. So yes, I did a bigger cuff on this one. I'm kind of experimenting with my cuff size. This cuff is 60 centimeters. Oh no, sorry. I cast on 60 stitches. I've got another pair of socks that I went for 64 stitches. And they're slightly loose, so I looked again for a sock pattern. I came across the Tin Can Knits sock pattern. And where's the name of it? Oh, it's the Rhyolite socks. And there's a picture of them. They do have
the wool or the pattern.
The wool.
So you had the wool in your stash.
Yes, yeah, it's a stash.
And you thought, what am I going to do with that?
I just thought I wanna. I don't know. It just jumped out at me. Again, free pattern, Tin Can Knits. Probably a great pattern if you haven't knit before because it's got diagrams on it. Free from Ravelry. I think, oh yes, they do a gusset heel turn. Is it a heel turn gusset heel? But I'll just do my fish lips kiss heel because I feel most confident at that. And I'm doing it on 2.25 needles. My go-to, I love higher needles, bamboo. I like the bamboo. They're not too slippy. They're really great when I was learning. I don't mind the joins, always really good. So I normally just go for, I like the feel of them in my hands. They feel quite warm and nice, so I normally go from them. But I think this is a 6-inch cable that I've been working these socks on. And I've recently tried a 9-inch cable, which I'll show in my next working project. And it took me a while, but I think I'm converted to the smaller cable. Anyway, this yarn is...
They just look like matchsticks. Crocheting on matchsticks.
This yarn was bought for me by my lovely Mitty.
Oh, that's me.
That's you.
Little bits and bobs. Most likely it was on sale.
And normally I cake my balls up. I've got a little cake winder. But I was so excited to cast these on. I've just been taking it from the big ball. But this is Head Over Heels All Stars by Stylecraft. 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon. And the colourway is Satire. So yeah, so it's been fun. I like when they kind of hit bands of different colours and like, oh, where's the pink gone? I've got a lot of purple.
You're waiting for the pink, aren't you?
Oh, there's a lot of pink in there. So they're going to be for me because I haven't got myself a pair of socks yet. And yes, I found Erica Knight for John Lewis was this one, 100% wool, which is a pink in this one. But like I said, it was on sale. It's a 50-gram ball. I don't think
we mostly buy on sale, don't we?
Yeah, I tried, and we don't really buy unless we've got a project. We don't have a big stash or anything. I don't like, I just would feel overwhelmed. Although I like to admire other people's
Oh yes.
goodies.
Mm.
Yeah. And then
Next project bag.
next project bag is again a wash bag. But I like them. They've got loads of like little pockets and stuff, and there's pockets inside that obviously for like your toiletries and things that I like to use to divide up.
It's quite good.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
What I've got going on. So this is a, oh, there's a wee spider there. I don't want you going into my stuff. There we go. There we are. So this is a half finished object. Yes, because I've done one already. This is again a sock for myself. And this is the other one.
This is a smaller
Yeah,
cable.
so this is matchsticks. These are tiny.
And the cable is tiny. Turn
It's,
it round the other way so we can see the other way.
Oh, this way.
That's it, yeah. So that was really small.
Yeah, sorry, my stitch. Yeah. It took me a while to like get my, it's definitely a different kind of knitting kind of thing.
Because yeah, you've seen knitters with the under their armpits
Yeah,
and things,
yeah.
the sticks.
And like not having so
needles.
much stick to, like it was literally like if that's
oh, yeah,
my
the other one
finger.
had, it's only tiny end. That is a matchstick.
Yeah. And then such a small cable. But actually, I really like that you can just fly round.
Right, you don't have to reach too far for anything.
No, whereas other one, I'm constantly feel like I'm pulling my cable through. Whereas this one, I can fly around.
Oh, the stitches turn up there for you, ready, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So this is my posh yarn, my treat yarn. This yarn I got from Dandelion and Dogwood, and here's one that I did. It's kind of showing up on my treat card, and this bit isn't. This is like a salmon pink. But it is there.
It's self-striping then.
Yes, but I don't think the pattern I chose is very good at showing that. But yeah, self-striping. It's in the Perfect Sock. This Perfect Sock base. It was a kit, and it was for one of their book clubs. 1 month, and then they released it as an individual little kit. That's like salmon pink. Baby black, big peaches.
And that's what you're costing.
Yeah, so again, I like my different toe, heel, and cuff in that. And the main one is the Guernsey potato peel and
from the book.
Yes, the Guernsey potato peel pie and literary
club
society.
Yes,
I read the book. I loved the book. So when I saw that they would release this colourway as the little mini skein and the main body sock kit, it was a treat purchase. But I'm so pleased because it's just really lovely, really lovely. Then my fish lips kiss heel. Try to do the blueberry waffle sock on this, but maybe it's looking a bit better than it does in real life. I think in my eagerness to cast on, I just didn't read the pattern right. So somewhere along the line, I've come up with something else. So I've just carried on through, and I'm just doing the same what I did for that sock as that sock. So it's like maybe like a squashed blueberry waffle or something, but it's not quite got the defined blueberry waffle pattern to it, which again is another free download off Ravelry and for her sock. And yeah, I did a little toe. And yes, and this is my 64 stitch one. So I cast on 64 stitches, again using 2.25mm needles. But it feels a bit big for my leg, that's why and also I did a shorter cuff, so I'm experimenting. My stitch markers I just made. I had like a cheap charm set from like H&M, I think it was, where it was like, oh, make your own necklace, and it had like one chain and then loads of different charms you could swap out on it. So I just bought some, are they called lobster claws? Yeah, lobster claws, a ring, and then I just thread all those little charms. So I've got a bag of stitch markers that I made because I wasn't using them on the necklace anymore.
Or you never planned to.
And that's me. Was that a fly?
I know, it's like a
breath.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So my one.
This better be a big one.
my one. Excuse me while I really turn around. I don't have project bags. I have a project basket at the moment. I've got two. Are they? I've got two project baskets, and my other project baskets I'm using at the moment just to store all my equipment in, because of our situation, my belongings are in storage. So I've just got in this one room just a few items that to keep me going. So I kept one bag out, and I used my other project bag for my I use an abacus, a little children's abacus for counting. Yeah, all right, pass that one over really quickly. Then I'll just share that. This is actually, so this is my day-to-day project bag at the moment, which is a little basket that just gets bundled around. This is our what's it called? Gardening bag. Yes, it's a gardening bag from HomeSense.
We like HomeSense.
Yes, we like HomeSense. So yeah, it's got all my needles in it and everything. But one of the things, it's got my eyes when I make little people. It's got some reference books in it that I wanted to keep, and one of the things that I was really struggling with was counting where I was in a row. And I know Penny's got little things she has on her finger and stuff like that. Yeah, I just needed something where I could just move the bead along, basically. So I used that quite a lot in the when I was making the lily pond. This was quite a useful little tool. Use that for counting rows and such like. So yeah, this is my little this is my project bag normally, but at the moment it's my storage bag, and I'm using this basket at the moment to make the fruit. I'm on the Fruit Garden Cow. It's by it's by I'm going to be shouting at it. It's by Jane Crowfoot.
Crowfoot? It's not a Sue Crowfoot.
No, it's Jane Crowfoot. Oh, I should have had this already. So basically, it's like I say, a crochet along by Stylecraft. I think we need to learn how to turn these around because that's backwards for you. So we'll learn how to sort that out. But basically what happens is you go on the Stylecraft, these are available free. You go on the Stylecraft website and they produce these in weekly releases, and in the lily pond I think there was 8. In this blanket there's also 8, and you literally get each one that you can either print it off or write it down from the screen. I didn't print the front cover for this one. But yes, you basically, it comes in these sections. This is actually section 4, and then you get section 5 and 6 and so on. So clearly I'm at section 4 because this is the one I'm currently doing. And basically you work your way through it. So this was number 1. It's got a name. I don't know what it is. But this blanket is all flowers. the crocheted flowers, and they tell you buy all your wool at once. It comes in a big bag, and it tells you at the very beginning what colours to use. It's better probably in this instruction here. I do have the other instructions. So it shows you what bit that you're doing in the blanket in that particular section. Oh, this is called Pink Forget-Me-Not. This is a Pink Forget-Me-Not. This is part 1, and you needed to make 8 of these babies. Yeah, I nearly lost the will to live on these 8. I mean, in week 1 was a chore. I'm not too sure why there's 2 different sizes. I think that's got a thing too many on it. Don't look. So yes, I put little idiosyncrasies in just for people to find little imperfections in there. And you can see, I mean, I have been sewing some of the ends in along the way, but because I've learned a lesson. I know I've learned a lesson that if you don't, you just spend, because there's so many different changes of colour in each of these, that if you don't sew your ends in as you go, you do end up with a big job. So that's part number 1 completed. Hallelujah. 8 of those. The next part is Columbine, which looks like this, and thankfully 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 of these. So again, I wouldn't say, I mean, I don't think this is complicated. You know, it is 3D. There's a kind of 3D element to it. But all my loose ends, not sewing them in. So pretty straightforward to make. I wouldn't say that these were difficult by any stretch of imagination. And Jane does a thing where she starts you off on easy squares, particularly she did this with the lily pond. You start off with easy squares, and then as you get more familiar and comfortable, she'll introduce more complex items. The third part then is what is this called? Aga something another. Anyway, that's it. Acanthus, and thankfully, hallelujah. Oh, there's 5 of these babies, so made 5 of these. So you, again, I've got ends nightmare. So yeah, I probably will sit one night or a couple of nights and just sew all the ends and just. Yeah, you know what? It's a nice thing to do when you don't feel like reading your pattern, and or you just want a quiet time and you just want to just sit and do something pretty mindless. It's nice to sit and put those ends in. How I make these, me personally, when there's 5, I will make like the first section, the middle bit, all 5 of them. So I learn the pattern. So I don't need to read the pattern after I've made one. I can then make that bit without reading the pattern, and then I'll put the outside bit on, and then I'll do all 5, and then I'll put the background on, and learn that, and then I don't need to, once I've done it once, I know then the pattern. But I also do need to I do sit and it's in the box, here it is. I will, because the way the pattern's written, it's written in a paragraph, so I do tend to take the information and separate it out into steps. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps there, and it's just so much easier to read when you're crocheting and trying to work out where you are in this paragraph. So I will sit and basically take the information out of the pattern into a little list for my own reference, which makes things go a little bit quicker. So that was 1, 2, 3. I'm currently on section 4. That's not one finished. So this is 4, square number 4. This is Purple Aster. So I've got to make 1, 2, 3, 4 of these babies, and you can see that's where we've caught up now. That's where I've got to. I've just got to finish the back of that. That's just less than an hour's work, just to pop the rest of the back on that. But unusually in this one, what she's also done is on the design, on the pattern, there's some rather large panels, and as you go through week by week, she calls them a motif.
This bit of the lily ponds.
Yes, it's this large panel here. She's got this blanket's also got a large panel, but whereas you made those large panels like you're doing in the squares in a week, that you get that pattern, you'd bash out 4 or 6 of things like that. This time she's feeding you little tidbits of this motif week by week. So in the first week we just made that little bit there, and then the second week we added the yellow and the blue and everything on. Actually, the first week she didn't make us do any because we had 8 squares to do. Yeah. So this is where we're at. But there are. Yeah. I mean, there's 1 in there, 2, 3, 4. I think it was 8 of them. And so that does take a wee bit of time because you've got to learn the pattern again. And these are, I don't think they're difficult. I wouldn't say they're difficult. They, don't be overly impressed. They are 3D, but it's more just reading the pattern. It's only 1 stitch. It's 2. There's only 3 stitches used in this. A double crochet, a triple crochet, and a half triple crochet. That's it. 3 stitches. That's all you need to know to do this. And there's a bit of in some of these ones. There's a crochet together thing, which is not difficult. There's no.
Sorry, did you roll 2 together to get this?
No, that's the actual wool, but an interesting spot actually, Penny, because that's not the original colour. That's the colour I used, but in the colourway, because you can buy these as a kit. You can, if you go and look on a shop, you say, I want what's this thing that I'm doing called? The fruit garden cow, the Stylecraft fruit garden cow. And you buy the kit, and it's like £60 or something like that, and they will send you it in a kit. But when I went to order it, I don't know, there must have been a national shortage. You couldn't get this colour parchment for love nor money, and you couldn't get a couple of the colours. So I just had a look on the website to see what the colour was, and opted to go for something a little bit brighter. Yeah. And so I went for something a wee bit more vibrant. So that's, funnily enough, one of the colours that's not the right one to the kit. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's my current work in progress. So I do, in a sense, have 2. I've got these squares to do, but I've also got these little motifs. Yeah, this which is going to grow into a rectangle. So hopefully, you can see what it looks like now. And as we meet week by week, you can see these grow into a great big rectangle.
Week by week.
Oh
no,
yeah,
no, we're not going to podcast every week.
Oh, sorry, no, week by week. Podcast by podcast. Podcast by podcast. Okay, podcast by podcast. You'll see these grow.
We'll see my inch of this knitting done.
Well, the next stage for me, funnily enough, is that I need to finish that last one, and then
that's a purple aster.
Yeah, purple aster, and this is I've got to do the hollyhock, which is stage 5, which is what I was wafting around, and then I've got to sew them all together. And now because there's a border going around the outside, and that's unusual in that you didn't do that with a lily pond. You literally waited until you got it all in a one. It's interesting. This has seen some life now. some of the lilies of. Oh, I actually finished something.
It's amazing.
Mm.
Are you going to get your popcorn stitch on it?
I don't know if this has got popcorn bobble or a popcorn. I could secretly put some in. One of the things I am deeply concerned about is that the two colours, the two main background colours. This is one which is called parchment, and then the border goes into this caramel colour, and I think there's too much difference in colour for this. Certainly in the picture it didn't look that different, but in real life it looks very different, and I'm going to order a couple of balls of wool that I've seen in the Stylecraft light that I think are it's going to be a little bit more closer to the parchment, so there's not such a big thing. One of the things I do, and I did done with my two projects, is
Oh, that's clever.
yeah, because there's so many different colours. When I start a new colour, I keep the band from the ball of wool, and I put the first bit of, a little bit of sample on it. So when I'm told to go and look for a blue haze, for example, I just rifle through my little swatches and right, it's that one. That's what I'm looking for, blue haze. And because there's rather a lot of colours in this, I only add them on. I don't do it to start with. Just as I use each colour, I'll just put it in there. I think we've mostly touched most of all the colours now. I think there's only one colour that I haven't touched yet that needs to be added in. But that's how I make sure I'm using the right colour.
Okay.
Yeah, it's double knit. It is Stylecraft, but it's also got the batik. There's a couple in the batik. It's not 100% wool. I think it's
75% acrylic and 25% wool.
I think it's for a blanket.
It's warm.
It's a harder wearing solution. You can wash it. It doesn't bobble.
Like this has obviously been on the little toddler's bed. And it's like new still.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I manage my. That's a hint and tip.
Yeah. I should have saved that one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And the other thing I do as well is, as I'm doing each square, I just put in my basket the wool that I'm going to use for that pattern, and so I know that I've got it all to hand. I don't carry around all the wool in my little basket.
I was the only one escaped.
Oh, yes, that one. Oddly enough, I don't know how that happened. I must have missed that on my last round. I'd have to do a catch up on that one. Oh, that's nice. So yes.
Beautiful. It's really beautiful. Future plans we have up next.
Do you think we should maybe do future plans next time?
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Hints and tips and recommendations.
Well,
you've just done yours.
I have, yes.
I probably did mine really. Make your own stitch markers.
Make your own stitch markers.
I even. So it's tradition that for Christmas you get Christmas pants.
Oh yes.
Yes. And this year my Christmas pants had little charms on the bow at the front. I'll get them because they're in my notions. Yes, I've got a notions bag as well. This is mine, bought by one of my best friends from Thailand. And it has all my needles in there. I've got I've got crochet hooks too, because like I said, I do dabble in it. I've got a crochet blanket, a giant granny crochet blanket square. Giant granny square crochet blanket on the go.
I think it's problematic doing that giant square.
Oh, it's so wonky, and I've made so many errors, but it's pink.
I don't know if it's a square anymore.
No,
I think it's turning into a tablecloth.
Yes.
Round thing.
But here is my little bag of stitch markers and progress keepers on whatever they are. And this is mainly all the charms that I got from that necklace thing I mentioned.
Yeah, there's hundreds of them.
Yeah. But in there as well as a ring. Here's one of the charms that I cut off my pants. Christmas pudding. I ran out of lobster clips. So I need to order some more. That's one, and then there's a Christmas.
So you just watch out for.
So yeah, I just watch out for
any opportunity to get these
little charms. Is that? Yes. That you can just add a ring to. And things. But yeah, this is like, again, this is one from the charm from the necklace. It's just a little bow. Oh, it's just a bit twisted. Doesn't want to. There we go. So yeah, that'd probably be a hint and tip for mine, to look out for little charms that you can cut off or cut off your pants. Anything that you can attach a lobster clip to can become.
Yeah, I don't really use stitch markers to sew up the blank. I mean, I do. Clearly, I work in the square. You know, in crochet, you can work in a square or you can work in a round. You know, this is basically working in a round. It ends up as a square. But if you need to, when you start to join it together and sew all the squares together, you need to identify the corner, each corner, and I just take a different color of wool and just loop that through.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Because I think with crochet, I don't know, I do have the wee safety pin, plastic safety pin things.
Yeah, I've got a few.
Yeah, I made a wee doll, a wee jelly baby man, and you needed to constantly know where you were going around his body. Yeah. And I used that, but the girl that I watched for that YouTube was she used a curvy grip and just pushed a curvy grip through her stitch. Or what's the curvy grip called? The American name for curvy grip.
Oh, bobby pin.
Bobby pin. That's it. Well done, bobby pin. And that's what she did. She pushed a bobby pin through and that was easy moving because it didn't have a
clip.
An end to it. You didn't have to.
Yeah, I don't really. Thing is, I always forget. Like on my nose frill jumper, I've put a progress keeper on my sleeve. And I was like, I'll put this on this day, and I sort of forget what day I put it on. But I do like it when I'm knitting, like magic loop it in the round to mark my beginning.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not sure. I think I go uneven. So yes, that's my hidden tip. Probably my other hidden tip is just keep your the wee plastic things that your needles come in. So it just keeps them organised and safe, and then it's like a little filing system that you just flick through when you are looking for the right size.
That's nice.
Yeah, you have an original in your notions pouch.
No. Yeah, this was a freebie. Yeah, I mean, crochet hooks are a different kettle of fish. They're just all in there. I know there's two types of crochet hook. I couldn't tell you which I prefer. I literally didn't even know there were two styles. There's possibly even more than that, and I've got no idea. I just dive into my bag and get the right size, and off we go. Yeah, just amassed a collection of crochet hooks of all different sizes. You look for them in charity shops or
We always have Amazon
Yeah,
don't we?
or wherever, and pick them up whenever you can.
Yeah.
Mm.
Great stuff.
Okay.
Nice. We shall say thank you very much for watching us.
Mm-hmm.
Hope to see you again soon. Hope you enjoyed episode 1.
Episode 1.
Of Popcorn and Pal.
Popcorn.
Pal. Mother and daughter. Fibre art.
Yes. Enthusiasts, but amateurs.
Yeah.
Tryers.
Yeah.
And you've got quite a lot to. You've got quite a lot to link on below then.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not linking anything below.
Yeah.
If you ask some questions, we can maybe answer them, but
yeah, I'll put all we.
Maybe you could put the Stylecraft there.
I might just put it all in the description box below. It might not be a link. It might just be the pattern and things, so you can go and find it to yourself, because I don't want to link something that might not be the best price or something for it. I don't know.
Oh yes.
You might want to
shop around.
But I guess let you tell us what yarns we're using and what pattern and stuff like that. Yes. Any feedback would be great. Again, it's not the best quality, but we're here. Hope we see you again soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.